Hi again. So today we're going to be focusing on children who stammer in school. And obviously school holds a huge number of challenges for a child who stammers and is probably the thing that we hear parents most worrying about, whether it's their child going from nursery into full-time school and how the different demands are going to affect them, or that point at which they're moving up to secondary school from primary school. So the first thing to say is that we as a service are here to support your children and to support teachers. We work in schools. We're very happy to liaise with teachers whenever we're in. And we also do run specific therapy groups for children to prepare them for the transition to secondary school. So in year 5 and year 6, children on our caseload are invited to a group which then continues to support them for as long as they need. But let's just go back to the whole school situation and take the stammer out of the equation altogether, and just remember that children change and differ enormously, regardless of having a stammer. They change, they're different in terms of how much they enjoy school, how easily or not they find it to make friends, how confident they are in speaking situations, to ask and answer questions. So in the same way that children who don't stammer differ enormously in those areas, let's not forget that children who stammer also differ too. So whilst yes, there will be children who stammer who would die 1,000 deaths rather than take a speaking role in the school play, there will also be children who don't stammer who would feel exactly the same, and B, there will be children who stammer who would be devastated not to be offered the chance to take a speaking part in the school play. So I think probably the first and most important message is just really don't assume anything at all. I think as teachers it's just really important, as you will be, to be observant and kind of sensitively watching what the child or young person seems to be finding difficult. Clearly the easiest way to find out is to ask, depending on the age of the child, asking the parents what the child finds difficult, what you as teachers can do to help. Ask previous teachers who've taught the child, and quite honestly, very sensitively, ask the child themselves. Most children are quite happy to discuss that, and if they're not, it'll be very obvious. We often hear parents, teachers, adults that know a child or a young person describing their speech as either, oh, they've been having a really good day, or their stammer's been really bad today. And I think it's actually worth thinking about, what does that actually mean? What does their stammer's been really bad today reflect? And I think really, in the main, it reflects our view of it. We can look and think, yeah, that young person has been stammering in a very tense way this week or today. There's been a lot of struggle involved. And they've been stammering a lot today, perhaps a lot more than they did yesterday, which felt like a good day comparatively. I think probably we need to be considering more how much of an impact the stammer has been having in terms of whether it's been a good day or a bad day. So even on the worst days when the stammer appears to be bad, has the child been speaking less? Have they been less enthusiastic to talk? Do they appear to have been troubled or unhappy as a result of their speech? Because actually, if it hasn't made that much difference, whose problem has it been? And has it actually been a bad day, or has it just been a bumpier day? Because I think we really want to be thinking about stammering as a different way of speaking, not a bad way of speaking, because I think if children aren't that concerned by it, Who are we to be describing it as bad, and what a mixed message that child might be getting? So our main message certainly is that no two children who stammer are the same. So there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach really when it comes to best helping a child in your class. That being said, we do have an advice sheet which I'm going to be posting on our Facebook and Twitter pages, which contains some real fail-safe practical tips for you to respond the most helpful way possible in classic hotspot school situations like registration, asking children to read aloud, just being mindful of the children that potentially might be avoiding talking because they don't want to stammer openly. It also includes information such as the fact that you can sometimes request extra time for children that might need it in oral exams when it comes to GCSEs and A-levels, etc. That advice sheet will also include some links to some very useful sites where you can get extra tips, advice and resources. I'm sure it will be very helpful to hear children explaining themselves how you can best help. And for that, I'm not going to attempt to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to show you a video that was made by our colleagues down in the Michael Palin Centre in London, featuring children doing exactly that. So enjoy the video. Please do refer to the advice sheet that's going to follow, and thank you very much for watching and listening.
I never stammered myself, but someone very close to me did. My father. Sometimes his stammer was very bad, sometimes just noticeable. But it was always there, waiting to ambush him in the middle of a story, or telling a joke, or just having a conversation. It affected the whole of his life, and yet he never once talked to me about it. Well, since playing a stammerer in the film A Fish Called Wanda, I've learned more about stammering than I ever knew when my father was alive. And one thing I've learned is that talking about stammering is the most important step in dealing with it. So we're now going to hear from children and young people about what you as teachers can do to help them. So sit up straight, stop talking, and listen to what they've got to say.
Having a stammer is hard, so that's why some of us are going to tell you all about it. I talk and I say something, only I can't say it when I'm stuck. That's what stammering is, really, being stuck. But it doesn't make us different than anyone else or less cleverer, does it?
If someone said that I'm inferior to someone because of my talking, then, well, obviously I disagree because, well, heck, at school, well, I would like to think that I'm one of the bright ones there.
Sometimes I want to say something, and I can't say a single word. So the people around me wouldn't even know that I'm trying to talk, but I'm trying to like force out what I'm trying to say, and then by the time I get out, they would have already moved on. So it's quite frustrating sometimes.
Well, I'd like my teachers to, and my school life, to know what causes stammering and what emotions I feel and when I'm stammering, and sort of just what stammering means to stammering people.
Right, we're going to do some reading out loud now. We're going to take it in turns to read to the class, and I think we'll start with Sean.
Oh no, certain situations make us stammer more.
I can't do like presentations, I can't do things I was talking in front of like 10 people. I can't even talk to like a whole group of people. And it also makes me like not answer a lot of questions at school when I know lots of them, but I just won't answer them.
I find class speeches quite hard because it has like an order of who goes first, and it's almost like a countdown, and it has like all the class going in front of you, and all the time it builds up more and more pressure. And I've spoken to people, and it's like a natural pressure anyway, but it almost has like an added layer because of my speech on top of that.
But there are lots of things people can do to help. What I would really like my teachers to do is come over to me and like have a little talk.
At school, at my English, a teacher, you know, she lets me do my oral tasks, you know, at her lunchtime. So then I am on my own. So I can just, you know, I can just feel, you know, secure, perhaps.
So the teachers also told me that if there's one of those, but if there's a day like when I don't want, like if I don't feel like saying anything, then I don't have to, and if I want to, then I can. So they give me the choice, not saying I have to.
Oh, well, I think that for a teacher to integrate someone into a class, I think just sort of simple answers, you know, like perhaps even only yes/no answers, perhaps even.
And I always noticed that the teachers used to give me like shortened paragraphs, and that was nice of them because it slowly helped to build up my confidence, really, and yeah.
The best thing a person can do is give me praise, because it gives me more confidence, and then it's like I can do anything.
And don't forget, we can speak for ourselves.
Well, sometimes people finish off my sentences, but if they get it wrong, I have to start over again, which is extremely frustrating. Yeah.
Patience, that's all it is. Just give us the time, lots of it.
After I've been asked a question, if I was given the time to to start thinking about my answer and my speech as well, then it would be very helpful for me.
So sometimes they try to help me in a bad way, like hurry up with your sentence.
And if we feel rushed, we often stammer more.
If people tell me to hurry up, I get even more annoyed because then I speed up and then my stammering comes a lot. So then it takes even more time. It takes even more time to get the words out.
Just try to keep eye contact with the pupil.
We get bullied and teased about our speech, and people don't understand, and we need help. Well, the children, when I say but, they say but, and then they just say, why do you always say but? And then I have to go and tell Miss Stevens. It's because she'll tell those people off because I'm the only one in the class who has a stammer. Because I say my name, but I struggle to get out, so they think you forgot your name, Sean, and that just annoys me because I haven't. I still remember it. I'm just trying to get it out. And don't forget the speech and language therapists.
Therapy is very important because without it I wouldn't have got where I was. Because before I came here when I was 3, and in primary school I couldn't string together a sentence or two, and now I can do it quite fluently. But when I go through a bad phase and when I go to therapy, it helps, and I come out of it feeling more confident in myself, and it shows.
Speech therapy. Well, sometimes it is a bit boring. That's just. But it does help a lot. Because when I was stuttering a lot, and now I'm still stuttering, but not a lot.
Well, that's it really. But one last thing. Once they see the film, they know about my stammer, and they'll start saying, Thomas, why are you saying ba, and they'll just help me. But there's not one last thing, there's 7 last things.
Each of us might need something different. Talk to us on our own about how to help us.
Tell us we're doing okay.
Don't tell us what to do when we stammer. Let us finish our sentences in our own time.
Praising us builds our confidence.
Give us the time to think and speak. Now, that is really it.